And here we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to BWTM Online, BWTM Sports. Check us out on Facebook, BWTM Online. Check us out on Instagram, BWTM Online. Check us all out also on the BWTM Online community. That's also on Facebook as well. Thank you all for joining us and listening to the show. This show is coming live and exclusive from the beautiful, wonderful island of Trinidad and Tobago. So shout out to all you Trinis out there, especially if you're in the San Fernando or Marabella areas. Big shout out to you yesterday, or day before yesterday, was the funeral of my aunt, Christina Mabel Eccles. So she passed away, and the funeral was on Tuesday. So again, massive shout out to the Trinidadian community. So I'm just here today doing what I usually do, talking about the sport that we love so much. So let's get on. I think I've spoken about this fight more than enough times. Dillian Whyte versus Dereck Chisora 2. And a lot of people asking for the Lewis Ortiz fight. Yes, while it would have been interesting and while it would well have been dangerous, a lot of Lewis Ortiz supporters are disappointed that Dillian Whyte is now fighting Dereck Chisora. But from a business sense, Dillian Whyte, Lewis Ortiz does not bring in more money than Dereck Chisora versus Dillian Whyte. And if Dillian Whyte is to beat Lewis Ortiz, well, people say he's an old man. And if you're talking about a war, this will probably be more of a war. People have seen Dereck Chisora, Dillian Whyte first fight. So the Dillian Whyte, Dereck Chisora second fight is what it is. And people will probably think that they're going to get to see the same fight that they saw the first fight. Well, that could happen, or they'll get a better fight. But I'll go into that in a moment. There's been new dynamics, obviously, brought into this now. David Haye, check this out. David Haye, 2012, if I'm right, I remember being in the camp of Don Charles, Dereck Chisora, and following Dereck around with Don Charles in the build-up to Chisora Haye, the whole build-up to that fight. And that was back on Bayloric TV all those years ago. It's quite funny. Yes. Hello, how you doing, true boxing fan? It's funny. At the time, Don Charles, David Haye, he's this, he's that, he's the other. Then, of course, David threw punches at Don Charles and he knocked his tooth out or something. And there was a little bad blood between Don Charles and David Haye. There was bad blood between Dereck Chisora and David Haye. And then David Haye gave Dereck Chisora what for being the only man to have knocked out and put Dereck Chisora on his back. David Haye. And then years on now, David Haye is now the manager. He's manager of Dereck Chisora. I find the thing, personally, I find it quite laughable how this has all come together. Because let's think about this a second. How long's Don Charles been training Dereck Chisora? Wait, how long has Don Charles been training Dereck Chisora? And through their ups and downs and they split up and they get back together again. Don Charles knows Dereck Chisora better than anybody. And if Don Charles can't get a demotivated or unmotivated or whatever Dereck Chisora, who's got his ups and downs, can't get the best out of Dereck Chisora, and he's been training Dereck Chisora all them years, somehow or the other, David Haye with himself is going to bring himself into camp, and he's going to be manage and advise Dereck Chisora, who nobody seems to be able to manage, I understand, is going to walk into camp now, and he's going to turn things around for Dereck Chisora. Now, you see, I do find it very funny. I find it extremely funny. Now, I don't know if David Haye is, because obviously David Haye is a promoter in his own right, and I think, me personally, I think David Haye makes a great promoter. David Haye could sell you a bucket of feces or a bucket of dog poo, right? And he could tell you, man, this is the most tastiest dog poo you'll ever taste. Don't worry, don't study, it's dog poo. It's the tastiest amount of dog poo in the world. It's really tasty. And David will make you believe it. David made us believe that in the first fight, he was going to do what to Tony Bellew, and even in the second fight, after Bellew gave him what for, he even convinced us that he was going to put a licking on Tony Bellew in the rematch. But it was all talk. You see, when money's involved, people can forgive one another real quick. Don Charles, David Haye, Dereck Chisora, they're all pals now. They're all working together. They're all working together now. Now, I don't know if this is some sort of partnership here that if it all goes wrong with Dillian Whyte, then he can run off with David on their TV network, and then he can fight on Channel 5. I don't know. Or Dave TV. I don't know if that's part of the plan in the future. I don't know, because obviously Joe Joyce isn't around anymore. So I don't know if that's the maneuver there. But how David Haye has got into that camp, and I don't know. I don't know. There's nothing to suggest that David Haye is going to be a great trainer for Dereck Chisora. So then that's Don Charles. What's going to make David Haye a great advisor? I mean, yeah, he knew how to duck and dive and weave and get himself into fights and get out of fights. That's true. That's understandable. But really, David Haye is going to be giving Dereck Chisora advice? And you know how Dereck is. Dereck will switch you in a minute. Dereck will switch on you in a minute. It all seems good at the moment, but when the pressure starts to hit and the blood starts to boil, I want to see whether David has the same control over Dereck Chisora. And if he has, listen, my man's like the Wizard of Oz, because I don't see how that works out. It's all right at the moment, but we'll see. Time will tell. But again, interestingly enough, the dynamics between Eddie Hearn and David Haye, business is business. They might not like one another. When money's involved, there you go. So Dereck has been with what? He worked with Eddie. He worked with Frank. He worked with Steve Goodwin. Was he with Sauerlands at one point? Now he's with David Haye. So what does that tell you? Dereck's looking for the best deal. And then the funniest thing about all this, if you remember back in the day when Dereck said, I ain't interested in no world titles. I'm interested in governing bodies. I'm interested in making as much money as possible. Now suddenly he's under David Haye, and he's now talking about, looking to fight for world titles. Well, I remember sitting in a room with Dereck Chisora, and he telling me he wasn't interested in fighting for world titles. Now all of a sudden, Dereck Chisora wants to fight for world titles. If you're so business about wanting to fight for world titles, you wouldn't worry about Dillian Whyte. You would have tried to go down the Jerome Miller route. You tell me how Jerome Miller is going to get a WBA title shot ahead of Dillian Whyte. But Eddie Hearn's been promoting Dillian Whyte longer, one, and Dillian Whyte is higher ranked than Jerome Miller and has fought better opposition than Jerome Miller. But somehow Jerome Miller is going to get a WBA title shot. You worked that one out for me. And this situation here between Dillian Whyte and Dereck Chisora, you work this out. Dillian Whyte has fought Lucas Brown, he's fought Joseph Parker, and he's been active as well. Now he's going to fight Dereck Chisora. You think one punch from Dereck Chisora ruins all the good work that Dillian Whyte's been put in? What do you gain beating Dereck Chisora? What do you gain beating Dereck Chisora? I mean, that fat guy over in Europe beat Dereck Chisora. I mean, the European champion. What do you gain beating Dereck Chisora? I mean, what level do people see Dereck Chisora? He landed one punch against Takam, but before that, Takam was handing him his ass. That is what I was seeing. It wasn't no 50-50 fight between Takam and Chisora. Takam was throwing better punches than Chisora. Takam was outworking Chisora. Takam was like the father beating his son up. Takam was beating Chisora all around that ring. But Takam ran out of gas, caught a shot, and got knocked out. Full credit for Dereck Chisora for staying and hanging in there against Takam. But he was taking a beating against Takam. Let's put something straight. Just because you put a cap on your head and it says War Chisora over it, that does not cover over the cracks as to the fact that he was taking a beating in there before he stopped Takam. One shot, bang, that was it. Whereas you turn around and you look at Dillian Whyte, you know, the fight he had against Joseph Parker. Joseph, I've got enough money in the bank, Parker. That's it. Before that, we fighting Parker, and in the last minute of that fight, Parker could have stopped Dillian Whyte. And then what would have happened? Yeah, here he goes. Here he goes. British box fan says Chisora's lost 3 times since the last Whyte fight. Kabele, Pulev, and somebody else. That's 3 fights that Chisora's lost since then. But yet, Dillian Whyte, since he lost to Anthony Joshua, has been building, rebuilding. And I don't agree he should be fighting Joshua next. He should be going and fighting Jarrell Miller, fighting for the WBA title, and then made a defense against Dereck Chisora. That's what should have happened. But Dillian Whyte is self-managed, so I understand. Chisora isn't pay-per-view. What is the crap? Well, listen, it'll be pay-per-view. Don't worry about that. It will be pay-per-view. Another pay-per-view so that they hit their quotas. Big Christmas present. Big Christmas present in your back pocket. That's one Christmas present less you ain't paying for because you got pay-per-view to deal with and Dereck Chisora and Dillian Whyte. Now, the question, nobody's going to ask the question, how much has Dereck Chisora got left? How much has Dereck Chisora got left? And Dereck Chisora is not going to get any better. Don't listen to what David Hay was saying. Oh, Derek's in the gym and he's been doing some amazing things in the gym. Yeah, right, David. So you're telling me all those years Derek's been in the gym, suddenly you come into Derek's life and he's doing all these fabulous things. But his trainer that's fought tooth and nail for him, his trainer that's been there when Derek's been in his good days and his bad days and in different days, couldn't do it. You come up 5 minutes, Jolly come lightly, walks up the road, comes into the gym, and you're doing fabulous things. And you expect me to believe that? No, man. David, listen, like I said before, David is a fantastic talker. Listen, David Hay could run for Prime Minister of this country. And charismatically, he could do it. He could do it. David Hay is so charismatic, it's unbelievable. And he smiles, and it's complete BS. And Dillian Whyte will tell you straight, it's BS. Now listen to what David's got to say. Yeah, Derek may come to the ring. And there's another thing. When David Hay and Dereck Chisora first fought one another, there was disrespect flying from both ends. North London, South London, the African, the Jamaican. There was bad blood, right? There was bad blood. He said this about this, that person. And then they got together and they sorted it out. Both hurt one another in the fight. Dereck Chisora, at points of that fight, was so exhausted, he actually physically moved himself to the ropes because he was so tired. You forget the first fight. They all forget the first fight. So, this is what I'm saying. I think that it was a great fight, the first fight, or it was exciting for the first fight. It was great because boxing fans want to see 2 guys have a scuffle, and the build-up was memorable. You know, the gloves are off and all the theatrics there, the table flying. Let me tell you something now. Mark my words. If this does not, they'll be nice now and cordial. And Derek is the master of promotions. Derek is going to be nice and cool now and everything's going to be all right. If he gets a sniff that the tickets are not selling right, expect them tables to go flying again and some other theatrics. Just wait for it to sell tickets for the fight. It's the same old thing over and over and over again. All right, that's the good old adage. Tickets are not selling. Hey, Derek, mate, listen, tickets ain't selling, mate. So you think you could give us a bit of, a bit of fake beef? No problem, Governor. That's how it works. That's why Tyson Fury got himself in so much trouble. You're all thinking it was Tyson Fury all the time, but Tyson told us on the channel exclusively the night where the morning after where he had his mouth taped up. I spoke to Tyson on the phone, I said, Tyson, what's going on? He said, listen, I'm sick and tired of my promoter telling me to do things, and I'm doing it to sell tickets. I do it. I do all these stupid things, and then afterwards, I have to pay the fine afterwards. So that will tell you a little bit about what goes on behind the scenes with promotions. So don't, when the tickets don't sell, that's just what happens. That's how tickets. This is why you get beef. Now look at something. Just pick sense from nonsense a second. We've seen Dereck Chisora and Dillian Whyte recently talking to one another cordially about the fight. Cordially. What I mean cordially is they're talking to one another like, you know, it's business. You want the fight? Okay. 5 million, blah, 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 blah. They're talking, okay, fine. You go your way, I'll go my way. There was no real tension. They talked about there was a tension in the press conference. What tension? What no tension? More tension in my little finger at the moment because I've been typing earlier. No tension. I don't get it. It's just so you have to sell it because people are to buy tickets for the fight. That's what it is, and pay-per-view numbers. That's it. That's all it is. Robbing a bank without leaving fingerprints, Peter. Okay. So let's go. Let's go. So British true box fan says, "What's good, Ingram? I'm good." He asks Ingram, "Do you think Hayes being Chisora's manager really made a significance in the money he was being paid or split?" Well, if you look at it, Dillian Whyte is the A side in this, not Dereck Chisora. And look, you see how it's sold. Whyte versus Chisora 2. It was Chisora versus Whyte 1. We know how the tables turn now. Whyte versus Chisora 2. But Dillian Whyte's the A side in this. I can't work out why Chisora would want to pay Hay a percentage. He just wasn't needed to make this fight. You just don't know whether this is a backup strategy as to if you lose this fight. Well, look, you don't know what the conversation's been behind closed doors. Eddie might have said to him, listen, if you lose this fight, bro, I'm not doing anything with you no more. You're too inconsistent, you're not performing, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. So Dereck said, you know what? I'm going to get on David's network. I'm going to fight on Dave TV for the future. I don't know. So it's just an investment. So if he loses, then hey, no matter, I'll go and fight on Dave TV. So I don't know. Why Dillian Whyte not fighting regular? Blame Herm. I do. Same thinking, Stefan. I think Ingram's hit the nail on the head. Chisora is heading for free TV after this fight. Absolutely. Chisora has lost 3 times. We talked about that. It makes no sense Dillian getting used like a broken condom by Herm. Where's disgrace? Where's WBA season? I know. Chisora isn't pay-per-view. What the crap? Wilder Fury's pay-per-view. This is Whyte versus Chisora. Should be on Joshua's undercard. It wasn't Joshua's undercard, wasn't it? Paul Dempsey loves outing fighters. Hay was in full salesman mode on the Puna versus Fury commentary team with Chisora on Channel 5. Yeah, of course. We know how it goes. Dillian Whyte paid Christmas cracker. Dempsey cut him straight off. Of course. It war, baby. They are definitely taking the piss with this pay-per-view. I won't be buying it. I am a Whyte fan. But Dillian, really? What the F is this pay-per-view? Wow. £20 is Stephen Pemberton. The last Joshua pay-per-view was crap, apart from the main event. Copen analysis. David Hay made me believe, like he always does, he's the best salesman of all time. He is. Hay should run for Prime Minister. He'd make me vote for him. Of course, I've said it already. When David Hay, I used to say to my wife, when Hay was fighting Chisora and he was doing all these press conferences, not press conferences, you know, comes up on Sky and talking all this stuff. I say, everyone quiet in the house. The president is talking, and I turn the volume up, and David will talk with his suit and everything. I love David. Yeah, I love David for the way he's just able to con people. David is the ultimate con man. I mean, he really is. but he does it so good. I mean, really good. David will stick a knife right in your heart and say, it's good for you, you know. It's really good for you. Don't worry about it. Yeah, there's blood coming out, but that's all right. That's natural. That's okay for you to bleed. It just shows that you're connected to me. That's all. And you're dying in the ground. No, you're not dying. It's all right. David Haye is the ultimate con man, and he's perfect for boxing promotions. Hey, listen, if I need to sell a product and I can afford to get David Haye, don't be surprised if you see David Haye and BWTM working together. Mark my words on it. If I can get David Haye to sell a product, I'll get David Haye to sell a product. Yeah, boy, this is the best thing going, you know. David Haye is the, if you want to sell a product, ask David Haye. He'll sell it for you. He'll sell it. David Haye could sell a used condom. No disrespect. He could sell a used condom and tell you it hasn't been used. He could sell a broken condom to you and tell you, no, that's the way the condom's shaped. That is David Haye. I'm telling you. David Haye will pull out just before the election. No, he'd go through with it. He'd go through with that. No. David's smart, boy. David's still keeping himself in the limelight. David is still keeping himself in the limelight. I always think it was always a shame that David Haye never fought at Madison Square Garden. He never fought at Caesar's Palace. He never fought at Atlantic City. He never fought at the Mecca of boxing. And I would love to see him fight in the Mecca of boxing. But never did it. You know, but yeah, I like David. I like David for that side, the promotion side of things. And he showed if he does it, you do it your way, you can do it, you can get through. So I've got full of respect for David Haye for that. But when you come telling me how Dereck Chisora, he went in the gym with Dereck Chisora and he saw magic with Dereck Chisora, how Dereck Chisora had this untapped talent that nobody, his trainer hadn't seen, his mom hasn't tapped into, his close friends, his wife, ain't no one tapped into that talent, but David Haye could see it. I tell you now, David Haye can see the light. David Haye needs to be on round for round. Yeah, he does. He does need to be on round for round, for real. I'll just do one video of David Haye. Don't matter any box in the world, but you add David Haye, you put David Haye there, and you say David Haye's going to be on round for round boxing. David Haye, listen, I am full admiration for that man. I don't know how he does it, but he just got away. He really is a promotional genius. As for this fight, I don't know if this fight can be better than the first fight. I mean, so okay, they're fighting for the second fight. I said to people before, I'll say it again, this is the road to nowhere. The fans don't know what they want. Oh yeah, the fans want this fight. What fans want this fight? Eddie Hearn fans want this fight because what Eddie Hearn says, those Hearnators, which is what I call him, the Hearnators, they, whatever, if Eddie Hearn says pigs fly, they all say pigs fly. You know what I mean? So for me, this fight is the substitute for Dillian Whyte fighting for world title, for the WBA world title. I understand why the Ortiz fight hasn't happened. Because Ortiz, you'd have to pay for him to come over. One. Two, who's going to sell tickets? Who honestly is going to sit down and listen to Luz Ortiz in a press conference? All these people, oh, Luz Ortiz. Who's going to sit and listen to Luz Ortiz in a press conference? And then, who's going to listen to Dereck Chisora in a press conference with Dillian Whyte? Of course. Yeah, there was talk about B-Hop fighting David Haye after Haye beat Mormac in France during that time. Yeah, that's a fight that David Haye should have skipped out of. I would have gone anywhere near B-Hop. Nowhere near B-Hop. Yeah, David could punch, but B-Hop is he's a tricky so-and-so and a wily old fox. I would have kept way away from B-Hop at that time. Smart move from David. Ortiz avoided Whyte. That's a fact. Any talk was from Hopkins and Hopkins only. That's right. Ortiz avoided Whyte. That's a fact. What makes it a fact? Did Ortiz tell you himself that he avoided Dillian Whyte? Or is it a fact that Eddie Hearn told you it was a fact? There are facts and there's Hearn facts. There are different. There are facts of life and there's Hearn facts. Like, I remember where Hearn made a statement about Carl Frampton. He said, "Oh, when Carl Frampton was going to leave him, or Carl Frampton left him, oh, you'll never get to fight him and Barry. You'll never get to fight Leo Santa Cruz." Really? Okay. No, you have to, all roads lead to Sky. Really? Okay. Of course, he fought Leo Santa Cruz twice. Yeah. The same man that says that who had Scott Quigg. When it was Frampton, it was like, oh, Frampton, yeah, he'd definitely beat Quigg. He signs Quigg. Oh, Quigg, yeah, he'll definitely beat Frampton. This man will say what he's got to say just for money. And a lot of people, but the thing is, Hearn has hypnotized so many people with his charismatic way as well that the Hearnators will not have it. They'd rather ignore the truth. But Hearn is almost like, I hate to say it, he's almost like a savior to a lot of these people. He really is. They worship him in a absolutely. This is where they come up with statements that boxing fans are idiots. Ortiz fought Allen when he was offered Whyte. Well, okay. Let me ask you a question, Bob Jones. Bob Jones. Funny man. Or woman. But listen, you don't make that make no sense. That don't make no sense. Why would Dillian Whyte have fought Luis Ortiz at that time? He'd come off a loss to Anthony Joshua and rebuilding his career. Why would he fought Luis Ortiz? That fight wasn't going to happen, man. Come on. Come on, man. I don't believe that for 1 second. Why do people always choose to talk to me and ring me during live shows? Hello? Live show. I'll call you back. Bye. Back to our live show. Apologies. So go back to Whyte's Twitter from 3 years ago. He was constantly calling out Ortiz. Listen, anybody can call anybody out via Twitter. You remember where Amir Mansour wanted to fight Dillian Whyte? Or you forget about that. Amir Mansour was calling out Dillian Whyte, calling out Dillian Whyte, calling out Dillian Whyte. What about the Brian Jennings fight? What happened to Brian Jennings fight? I'd much faster watch Brian Jennings and Dillian Whyte fight. That's a fight I'd rather see than Dereck Chisora. It's called getting your name out there, of course. Bob Jones, away you tit. Let's stop that foolish talk, man. Stop that foolish talk. Anyway, but look, Dillian Whyte should be nowhere near Dereck Chisora again. Mansour is terrible. Jennings ran away from Whyte. Oh, Lord. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, some people, this is what I talk about. This is we've got a Hernator in the room. Good evening, Bob. So anyway, moving on. What makes Mansour terrible, by the way? I'd love to know what makes Mansour so terrible, because none of the top heavyweights really wanted to fight any bit of Mansour. Is this the most lucrative fight for Whyte other than Joshua, Fury, and Wilder? Also, I personally feel that this should have been a much easier night this time around for Whyte. Mansour quit against Brazil. Okay. Could you, Bob Jones, talk to me? Give me an incident or time in your life where you fought in a boxing match against a big, strong heavyweight with a broken jaw. Or actually, it wasn't his jaw was broken; his tongue was burst and cut open, and it was like bleeding profusely. You lose too much blood, you die. That's just life. That's a fact. This stuff about Mansour quit against Brazil. Now, listen, you could say that because you're sitting behind a keyboard talking nonsense, right? But facts are, I think either his tongue was split open or he broke his jaw, one or the other. Yes, Razor Ramon. Yes, brother. Keep believing the hype. Mansour is too old and quit. Okay. Razor, just keep an eye on this man, Bob Jones here. Anybody who's got a wrench and feels the necessity to remove, please do. Anyway, so this is Dereck Chisora and Dillian Whyte too. This fight doesn't make sense. Well, I'm telling people it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. You know what? Dillian Whyte, if he gets knocked out by Dereck Chisora in a rematch, he shouldn't. He should win this fight quite comfortably. Quite comfortably. Because you've got to think to yourself, Dillian's been rebuilding since the Joshua fight. He's been rebuilding. What pees me off about this fight is that Dillian Whyte, wasn't he number one contender? He was number one. Why is number one? Where's Dereck Chisora ranked? Why is Dillian Whyte looking backwards? Chisora beats Whyte. Yeah, of course. Let me talk to Bob Jones a second. Bob, how are we doing, my friend? So, how much do you get paid to be a troll, Bob? You get paid good money to be a troll, Bob? Yeah, Fury Chisora 2 was an absolute non-contest. Yeah, it was. It was. But remember, I know you remember that Chisora 2 fight, but I was there when Chisora got injured for the rematch and his hand got busted today. I would like to see how that Dereck Chisora would have fought against Fury, because his hand got injured and then he went straight into the fight. I don't know if it made much difference, but I still would like to have seen that fight anyway and see how they would have compared. Bob, who's your favourite fighter in boxing, mate? You know what? Definitely took the safer option instead of fighting Ortiz. I wouldn't have bothered fighting Ortiz either. To be honest, Ortiz brings nothing to the table. What does Ortiz bring to the table? Trouble, and more trouble. This fight is just a cash. Sugar Ray Robinson is your favourite fighter. Why is Sugar Ray Robinson your favourite fighter, my friend? Bob? Yeah, this fight here. I'm all for fighters making as much money as possible. I don't think a Luis Ortiz fight is. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. There's no need to fight Luis Ortiz or Dereck Chisora. You go and fight for the WBA strap. You defend your WBA strap against Luis Ortiz or Dereck Chisora. I make my first defense against Dereck Chisora. I make my second defense against Luis Ortiz. Simple as. Why Sugar Ray Robinson, Bob Jones? That to me makes more sense. I can see it sitting here. If somebody can explain to me how Jarrell Miller, who's for his last fight was against Thomas Adamek. If Dillian Whyte had decided to fight Thomas Adamek in his last fight, he would have got crucified in the UK. How does Jarrell Miller get a WBA title shot ahead of Dillian Whyte? Somebody work that nonsense out for me. What is so special about Jarrell Miller? Could somebody explain it to me, please? I don't see it. I don't see it. Could easily make that fight. That's the question. Now, where does the winner go from here? Where does Dillian Whyte go from here? He fights Joshua in a rematch? I don't want to see Joshua Dillian Whyte in a rematch. I have immense respect for Ortiz, especially if he's 46 years old. But really, not interested in his fights. There you go. That's the truth. That's the truth. That's the honest truth that most people feel about Luis Ortiz. Got a lot of respect for him, but they don't care too much for him. Yeah, he can fight. They don't care too much for him. Really, who cares about Luis Ortiz? Yes, he can fight. He's a southpaw. He can punch. But there's so many people who have discredited Luis Ortiz and called him all sorts of names. And he's an old man. He's this. He's that. The other. And discredit him to a point because Wilder beat him. So Chisora is ranked 5 by the WA, 11 no 5 by the WA, 11 by the WBO, 9 by the WBC, and 6 by the IBF. Have you ever seen such nonsense? Now I am the number one contender in I think 2 of the bodies, maybe. And I'm looking and fighting a guy who's ranked 11, 9, 6, 5. That makes no sense whatsoever. If I was now, that would have made sense if I was making a title defense. If I was defending my WBA title, then I would see WBA title. I would defend it against Chisora. Gerard Miller kicked out of the WBC ranking 2 years ago because he refused Tobago testing. This guy's clearly juicing. I did hear this story before. But Bob Jones, you didn't answer my question. Why do you like Sugar Ray Robinson? I'll tell you why I like Sugar Ray Robinson. I like Sugar Ray Robinson not just because he was a boxer. I like what he did outside the ring, what he did for his people, what he did for his community. He gave employed, gave them jobs. He was an entrepreneur. That's why I love Sugar Ray Robinson. Who ranks second? Who's ranked second below Whyte? Probably Dominic Brazil. That's another one everyone's talking about. Dominic Brazil. Who's Dominic Brazil for? Since he got knocked out by Joshua and he fought Izu, who's he fought since then? And who was Izu? I'm just saying. I've had this conversation before. Whyte is number 1 in WBO, WBC, WBA, and ranked in the IBF. So he's ranked number 4 by the WBA, number 1 by the WBO and WBC. Why the hell would you take a fight? Why the hell would you take a fight against Dereck Chisora? Why would you? You wouldn't. So, but you'll just hear people say, "Watch this." If Dillian Whyte beats Dillian Whyte beats Dereck Chisora, I wonder if they'll stick Gerald Miller in the frame. Yard is also WBA number 1. Not sure what ranking his last couple fights have been. Oh, there you go. But I heard Frank Buglioni pulled out of the fight. He was offered 150,000 to face Yard, and he just turned it down. 150,000 for 5 million. That's why he took it. Okay, but you think again? I know Razor, but to me, as I said before, it don't make no sense. You go, you take a loss, a little money, you win your WBA title, you make title defenses, and you go to Jamaica, make a title defense of the heavyweight championship of the world. And then I would have defended my heavyweight championship of the world in Jamaica, rumbling Kingston. That's what I've done, something like that. I would like to see Whyte versus Big Baby. I think a lot of people like to see Whyte versus Big Baby. That's a title fight right there. That's a title fight right there. Dillian Whyte, Big Baby, that's a world title fight. That should be for some world title. Why do you say that? They're quite 2 big guys. They're both brash, both talk quite a lot. And if one of them were world champions, WBA champion, that would make a great fight. That's see, as I'm Whyte's manager or promoter, I'm saying, listen, get that WBA title fight, and then we'll start making the big fights. That would be wicked, though, backyard. Of course it would. Miller will fail a test within a 16-week VADA testing for the run of a fight. I've heard stories about Miller before. I don't know how true they are, but I've heard those stories. But my point is this. This is a waste of a fight. Personally, waste of a fight. This fight, if the promoter had a little bit more imagination, this fight should be for This should be a WBA title defense for Dillian Whyte. That's what it should be. Dereck Chisora, let Dereck Chisora go fight Miller. Why does everyone want Dillian Whyte to fight Miller? Why shouldn't Dereck Chisora fight Miller? I think that would be a greater fight than Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte's more boxer puncher. Dereck Chisora will just come and rumble with Miller. I think Miller Chisora is a better fight. But hey, that's just me. Right, I don't think there's much more for me to talk about on this now because I think I've extended myself to a point. Whyte Chisora makes massive money for both boxers. Yes, and you work for Matchroom. Whyte Miller would only reach its potential if it was in the States. Miller soaked shots to land his own. Imagine Ian John Lewis, he would dive in after a few shots. Yeah, I agree with you there. British true box fan. Now, Bob Jones, you say that Whyte Chisora makes massive money for both boxers. How do you know it makes massive money unless you're repeating what Hearn says? How do you know it makes massive money for both boxers? Del Boy and Miller's bellies would prevent them from hitting each other as people. How would Joe Joyce do against Whyte? Don't care. Really don't care. Just not interested. I want Joe Joyce to fight somebody, then we'll have that conversation. So pay-per-view is obvious. It's pay-per-views. Is it obvious? It's obvious. Okay. It's obvious. Because you fought on pay-per-views, right? It's obvious. It's only obvious to those that read information. It's obvious. It's not obvious. Nothing's obvious. The first fight lived up to the hype, but if Dillian don't knock out Chisora don't knock him out, it would be a waste of pay-per-view. I agree. I heard Joshua's next three opponents would be Whyte, Baby, and then Usyk. Joshua versus Whyte in April holds very little interest for me apart from praying for a Whyte win. Joyce too robotic. Fighters off Chisora, bit Eddie's nose off. Yeah, great. What's good, BWTM? Why is Dillian Whyte fighting Whyte and Chisora instead of Luis Ortiz? Very simple, in my opinion, and that's my personal opinion. It brings more money to the table. All right. For a second, just check something for me, yeah? If we were in a room, let's imagine, let's give an example of, let's use the O2 Arena as an example, yeah? O2 Arena is an example. And you tell me to get all of Luis Ortiz's fans in the UK to sit down in that arena. Okay? Take them out. Those are all Luis Ortiz fans, right? Paying to see Luis Ortiz against Dillian Whyte. Okay? Take them out in the room. Then put Dereck Chisora's fan base in the room. In the O2 Arena. It's right there. Fan base. Money. Got no fans. Got no fans. Got a lot of people over keyboard warriors. We've got no fans. Luis Ortiz has got no fan base. And he's never worked at having a fan base. That's why it is where it is. Some of the times in boxing, not because he's the most feared boxer in the world, sometimes because they're undercutting fighters. So they're saying, oh, you know what? I'm only going to pay you. Say, I'm going to take 75%. You're going to take 25%. And I'm saying, no, bruv, that's not right. It should be a 50-50 fight. Or 45-55. What? 75-25? No, bruv. Go away. I don't want any of that. And so what happens is, then you hear in the papers, this guy ducked that guy. No, money. That's one way you get yourself out of a fight. Undercut somebody or ask for too much money. That's two ways you get yourself out of a fight without actually saying, I don't want to fight you. That's how it goes. You would have 8 fans. Ortiz has no fans. The 2 shows Ortiz had on Matchroom were stinkers as well. There you go. Ortiz is not commercial. He can't even speak English. That's my point. But don't use the can't speak English as an excuse. Because Canelo sells, obviously sells. So perhaps Ortiz could employ the Wilster Raider. No, I think it would have been better move if Luis Ortiz employed David Haye. If Luis Ortiz employed David Haye to be his manager and promoter, you'd hear more about Luis Ortiz. Do you think David Haye is shafting Dereck? Neither can Dillian Bob. Exactly now. I was just thinking about the Wilson Raider. True, Peter. So, that's about it, really. I haven't got much more to say about the matter. I think you want a piece, I'll give it to you. You guys are funny. Haye is shafting Dell. He might be financially. I don't know. But anyway, I'm out of here. Thank you all so much, also always for listening. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, share the videos. 14,000 almost. Appreciate you all. Again, don't forget to check out the videos. Check out the cards that are actually on the videos as well. Upcoming show, December the 1st in Leeds. First amateur card for amateur show run by the Training Cave. I'm looking forward to that. So check that out. I want a bird to look at me the way Haye was looking at Del Boy at the presser. Oh, dear. David should ask for 50%. Right. Guys, girls, ladies and gentlemen, and of course, my listeners from Trinidad and Tobago, on the island of Calypso and oil and all them good things. Maybe oil is not such a good topic to talk about. But anyway, shout out to everybody in Trinidad and Tobago, particularly San Fernando, Marabella, and yeah, Port of Spain can have a shout out as well. Right, I'm out of here. Thank you all so much for listening once again. This is BWTM Sports, and we're out. Take care.